Road.
All right, man. What's
Right.
going on?
All right.
This is the Domestic Draft Podcast. This is Evan Bierman here with Dan Sloak, episode 27. Let's kick it off. Dan, what are you drinking?
Howdy. I have a IPA. I'm back on it after going light last week. Back
There we
into the
go.
IPAs. This is a relay IPA from Thorn Brewing. This is in North Park, a neighborhood that I first moved to here in San Diego, and a brewery that is kind of in the midst of expanding right now, and gaining popularity. They currently have 3 locations. The North Park is the original. They have one here in Mission Hills, and then they did one in Barrio Logan. And that's actually, they moved all of their production to this big building in Barrio Logan. So it's a relay IPA. I'm going to go ahead and drink it, and then I can talk a little bit about the brewery itself.
Okay.
Let me give it a sip here. And I'm going to compare it to the last IPA I had, which was Coronado Brewing, Weekend Vibes. And this one's a little more hop forward. It's not as citrusy or crisp, in my opinion, as that Weekend Vibes. Untapped gives this one a rating of a 3.75. It is 7.2%, so it is a heavier IPA for me. I don't like it as much as the Weekend Vibes, but it's not bad. It's not like crazy heavy forward. Let me give it another sip. Yeah, good. Good. I talked to the guy when I went there as well. The bartender, told him, I was asking like if they have like a flagship or one they're most known for. He did recommend this one for me, and it's not bad. Easy drinking, not as light, not as citrusy. So Thorn Brewery started about in 2016, and it's in a really cool area. It's like a neighborhood brewery. It's not like an old warehouse or kind of like in an industrial park. It is literally on Thorn and 30th. That's where the name comes from. It's on Thorn Street. And there was a guy who had a home brewing shop there and garden, and it was kind of his business, his building. And then a friend of his saw that he was going to close that business and start a new one. He got curious. The new business was brewery. So him and another friend who were home brewers kind of all got together and decided to open it together, shared funding, blah, blah, blah. And really, I mean, they've kind of just been a neighborhood favorite there. They've expanded in that space, and now they have 3 locations. So it's a pretty good brewery. I bought a hat like last time for fall, but I bought it for Pete Mike Keyser, our beer buddy Gavin. And yeah, cool little brewery here. Check it out if you're in San Diego. What about you? What are you drinking?
So I got a brewery I hadn't heard of. Just wandering through the the beer selection, and I came across this one that I've never seen before. It's called Legrow Brewing. And it caught my eye because it says organic beer company on it, and it's got a USDA organic logo on there. And I've never seen that before in a beer. So that kind of caught my eye. Took this bad boy home, and it's a Citra Blonde Ale by Legrow Brewing Company, organic beer company. And Legrow is a small family-owned independent brewery, and there it says, I was just looking through their website, they're committed to a seeds to suds cause to deliver on a dream of producing beer that is big in integrity, big in quality, and big in taste. So they're very much pushing the organic portion of their business. It was founded in 2016. Like I said, it's 3 brothers, and it was the first USDA certified organic brewery in Chicago. So that's kind of cool. But this one it's a Citra Blonde Ale. It's got just a little hint of the citrus on there. Real light, easy drinking summer beer. Not hoppy at all, really. Just a little bit of the fruit there. It's got a 3.61 on Untapped, 5.1%. So give Legrow Brewing some love if you see them out in the liquor store. And if you can't find it or you haven't seen this before, go to their website. They have a beer locator on the website, and they also have a partnership with Drizzly, so they can deliver to your door. It says within 1 hour. So that's pretty sweet. I've never used Drizzly before. No free ads. Drizzly, we're coming for you.
Try it at your own risk. There you go. How do you spell that again?
Drizzly or Legrow?
Legrow. No, come on. No free ads. Legrow.
Legrow is Lagrow.
Oh, okay. How
Yeah,
it sounds.
right. Exactly.
Exactly how it sounds.
Yeah,
Right on, man. Cool. What do you want
for
to talk
sure.
about?
So the first thing that kind of caught my eye this week, um, my Twitter feed, ever since we got into Top Shot, 6 months ago, it kind of came and went. We haven't talked about it since then, and it's back, man. All these NFTs are back. Cryptocurrency in general is back. If you look at, so I like to look at Bitcoin. That's kind of like the gold standard of cryptocurrency, and just when that's booming, that everything else is kind of going with it.
Yeah.
So a month ago, Bitcoin was at 33,000. Now it's back up to around 50,000. So it's made a big resurgence over the last month. But the NFT space has been interesting. So Visa, MasterCard, Visa, the credit card
Yeah.
company Visa, bought
I
a
saw that.
CryptoPunk. Did you see this? They bought a
Yes.
CryptoPunk. And if you don't know what a CryptoPunk is, it's an NFT. There's 10,000 unique collectible little characters. There's the proof of ownership stored on the Ethereum blockchain. So it's very much, all of these are one of ones. They're uniquely generated. No two are exactly alike and can only be owned by one person. So Visa buying one of these is kind of strange to me. Clearly just an investment. It's not like, it seems like a lot of these people buy these and they put them as like their avatar on Twitter, or, just kind of gimmicky thing to have. But Visa spent $150,000 on one of these,
Mm-hmm.
number 7610 of 10,000. So not even like number one or anything like that. It's just like kind of a random one. So I thought that was kind of crazy that you have a big time company putting
Mm-hmm.
that much money behind an NFT project like that. So I think CryptoPunks, they're saying, are like kind of the Bitcoin of NFTs. When these go up, everything else kind of goes with it. And so we're seeing a resurgence in Top Shot, NBA Top Shots as well, especially the Series 1 moments and the big time LeBron moments. But I just thought that was nuts that this is kind of back really quickly, and for it to only be 6 months ago that we were really all in Top Shot and talking about that a lot, and for it to be back already, I think I mean, that might be a sign that this might be here to stay over the
So
next year or so.
are those punks are just images, correct? And it's more or less just supply and demand.
Exactly.
So I
So the
saw,
first,
yeah,
yeah, the first when these were first released, basically what they look like if
I
you
saw
come
Matt
across it on
Caesar,
Twitter or something.
former Cub. He was posting about how he got one in like a
Yeah.
raffle or something, and he was like posting it. I think he changed his profile picture to it as well.
Yeah. Everybody
Um,
that's got them has their profile. Odell Beckham has one now.
right.
Des Bryant might have one too, but it's yeah, everyone puts them as their avatar on Twitter.
Uh-huh.
Um, but they were originally 10,000 of them that were just released for free. And so the first 10,000 people to grab them got them. And they were kind of like the first NFT. So there's this big demand for them, and they're just skyrocketing now. People are, pulling them off the market because they don't want to sell them because they think this is just going to continue to go up. Um, I mean, they just look like they were created in Microsoft, like in Paint,
Right,
on
yeah,
your
and you look
computer or
at it,
something.
yeah,
So it's
it's like a
like,
shitty little like pixelated like cartoon guy with like
exactly.
orange hair or something.
Yeah. It's not
Um,
about the picture really. It's all about the supply and demand portion of it. So kind of
yeah,
interesting.
definitely. I did look the website to like gauge your profiles. I know for Top Shot is like evaluate.market or something like that. And I was looking at it last night, actually. I was just curious to see where I have 16, I believe, Top Shot moments in my portfolio. So I went to the website, and the website was completely revamped, which again tells you that, there's a focus on this. There's a demand for it. And it's not only can you search Top Shot, but it's a website now dedicated to all NFTs. So
Really?
it took me a minute too to like navigate it and find my own portfolio. I was like, wait a minute. This used to be like strictly Top Shot. Now you can like go and search all NFTs. You could just monitor it. It has like the market watch for some of the top ones as well, like an app like Robinhood too, where you
Oh,
can
wow.
kind of go and monitor these NFTs. So I thought that was interesting. I thought it's a good sign as well for that NFT market. And so that's kind of like your social media. We were talking the other day of like how like different our Twitter feeds are. And what you're seeing is a bunch of fantasy football and NFTs. And what I was
Exactly.
seeing, and I brought it up, it was this milk crate challenge. Just shows
Yeah,
you
I hadn't seen that at all until you were
uh,
telling me about that.
all the
But go ahead
high,
and explain what this is. And
yeah, all the highbrow accounts that I follow were retweeting this, and it's probably on what's that app? I can't think of it. The biggest
TikTok.
app in the world. Yeah, TikTok, which I'm not, but it always gets reposted to like Instagram and Twitter, so I find it that way. But pretty much, and I'm very confused on how these things start, and I really want to like study and wonder and know how things go viral, how trends happen like this. But you pretty much make a pyramid in one row of milk cartons, those plastic, milk cartons, and the goal is to like climb up, get to the top, and then climb down. And all the videos you see, some people succeed, but for the most part, they absolutely eat shit. They get to the top, it's very unstable, they're wobbling, the weight of the person is too much for the structure of just plastic milk crates, and then they just like land on their face. It's just brutal sometimes these people are doing, and then like pavement out in like parking lots, which
Oh,
I don't
Jesus.
know.
So it's just a compilation of wipeouts basically when you're watching these videos, or what?
Yeah, now I'm seeing, yeah, for the most part, but
You're
now I'm
watching them
seeing
for the
like
wipeouts.
that's the reason I'm watching it for the wipeouts. But now you're seeing like these guys and girls in gyms that are doing it to like show off with like they're like curling weight and like bench pressing while they're doing it. But for me, the most fun ones are like in a neighborhood, and like a lot of the, it's like summer. So remember like growing up, like something would happen or a trend, or like say, wiffle ball is really popular or whatever, and the whole neighborhood kind of goes and does it. This is kind of one of those trends where the whole neighborhood's going and doing it. People are watching it. Other people want to attempt to try to do it. They're yelling, they're recording, and that's like those are the ones I really enjoy, because there's just more involved.
Mhm.
The more like planned out ones that you see now, that where people are trying a little too hard, are not. I have no idea why this is the thing.
Yeah.
No idea. I don't know if this is bringing attention to like a cause or anything, like the ice bucket challenge. This is just something that like happened. Somebody like retweeted it or posted it on TikTok, and now everyone wants to try their hand on it, or try their hand, whatever that term is. They want to try it themselves.
Yeah.
But
I saw a tweet that was a
it's
picture of
pure entertainment.
Nathan Fielder from Nathan For You. Did you see
Yes,
that?
yes, I did.
That was like
The plan, the
yeah, the
plan.
plan. Get everyone to buy these old plastic milk crates
Yeah.
by creating a viral sensation. Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't understand. Though I think I could do it, don't you?
Yeah, I think we should try it. Totally. Make sure we're on concrete surface.
Okay.
I've seen some too where like kids would sabotage it, where the person gets to the top and they run and like kick out the bottom one, which is wild.
Yeah.
Um, it's just fascinating and like I get very curious about these internet trends.
How stuff goes viral like that. Yeah.
Goes viral, starts so fast, and probably burns out even faster. I was like thinking of the ocean spray like guy longboarding a few months ago, listening to like Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
Like that guy like was so popular, so famous. I hope he's doing well. But like how that became like a viral sensation. It's just weird, like what we enjoy. Anyways, that's
Right.
what's going on my Twitter, and NFTs on yours. So we'll try to do this weekly, kind of we'll compare and contrast kind of what's going on with yours and what's going on with mine, and
what's on your Twitter.
trending.
I like it.
Yeah.
Let's keep it.
We'll try
keep
to
it
keep
going.
that one.
So let's get into some NFL news then. There was a game last night, Monday night game, the Jags and the Saints, couple injuries. One of them maybe a little bit bigger than the other.
Etienne.
Travis Etienne, Liz Frank injury. They came out today. He played just 3 plays. First round running back, people were excited about, placed on season ending IR this morning before roster cut. So he cannot come back this season, which is brutal for people that have already drafted already. I had a draft on Saturday, and our buddy Gavin already drafted Etienne, and that was one of his big time running backs. So that's brutal.
Pete, my keys are brutal.
My keys are brutal.
Reach.
Reach. So, I mean, really, the biggest guy impacted here is James Robinson. That's pretty obvious. I would say you vault him into the top 15 running backs after this. He was I think, a 6th-round pick in my latest draft. I would say right around RB30 or something like that. Etienne was definitely going higher than him.
Well, birds. He
Yeah.
was awesome
So
last year. He won me a championship last year for sure.
James Robinson was sick. Everybody
Yeah.
got him like kind of the end of the draft, or even right off waivers the first week or something like that. And he was a stud last year. Now he's got just Carlos Hyde behind him. So I think James Robinson, RB7 last year, like you said, he was a stud. So I think he's going to be huge again this year. Though I'm not sure about Urban Meyer as a first-year head coach. Still won't name his starting QB. It's got to be Lawrence, in my opinion. He was your number 1 overall pick. Myers said he's in love with this guy, and it was pretty clear that they were going to draft him all summer or leading up to the draft. So I think it's his job to lose, though. I think he wants him to win, to earn the job and beat out Gardner Minshew there.
Yeah.
I just don't know about a first-year head coach like that coming in for a team that was so bad. I mean, they have so many holes. The defense was terrible last year too. I would be surprised if they win 4 games this year.
I think it's going to be ugly. I think it's
yeah.
going to be ugly for sure.
I think they're going to be bad.
I think out of the rookie quarterbacks, yeah, and we'll get to it. I don't have high hopes for him. He's looked like shit in the preseason too.
Yeah, he hasn't looked great. Doesn't even look like that confident either, though. I try to look for that, just stand on the sideline and shit like that. And he just doesn't look like he's super into it. I don't know. That's just me. The other side of the ball, the Saints.
Jameis
is looking good. Yeah.
Did you see his stat line? What was he, like 19 for 20 for 2 touchdowns?
Yeah. And Rappaport said today that Winston's emerging as a likely starter, made some big plays, a couple nice touchdown passes to Marquez Callaway, sleeper. Keep an eye on.
He was in Mark Trestman's old team. He was a Montreal Alouette. He was in the CFL.
Oh yeah.
Undrafted CFL experience. Yeah. And then he made those 2 crazy ass one-handed catches for touchdowns.
Damn. Yeah. And I think he's going to be vaulted up even a little bit more. The other injury in this game was Adam Troutman, who people were kind of hyping as a sleeper tight end this year. It's an ankle or a foot injury, they said, but it's believed to be minor. No exact timeline on him yet, but he might miss a few weeks into the season. I'm thinking he was drafted in my league the other day, already dropped. So, I mean, somebody's backup tight end there, but sleeper that people were kind of hyping up, getting injured right away. But now I think Callaway is the only guy that's going to be catching passes. Michael Thomas is going to miss some time at the beginning of the year. I would keep an eye on him for sure. I don't know who else is going to be catching passes from them besides Kamara. So
it's going to be tough. How that is going to impact Kamara too. You kind of just glanced over it. He's one of the top running backs now. Doesn't have too much around him from the outside. Interesting. I like Jameis there. I actually think he's going to do really well in a dome with Kamara, with a running back. He can kind of ease the workload for Jameis. But I'm just a support for Jameis. Eating W's.
Jameis is fun. He's a gunslinger. He's gonna be throwing it around. I think they'll still bring Taysom Hill in. Definitely, it's not going to be the Jameis Winston show the whole game, but Taysom Hill will get his package of plays. But I think he's just better as that gadget guy that comes in and can run it. Or
definitely. He's not your starter. Exactly.
Right. So let's move over to the Bears. Bears are remaining committed to Andy Dalton as the week 1 starter. I think everybody keeps asking Nagy, and it seemed like he finally put his foot down and was like, Dalton's the starter, and that's the way it's going to be the week 1. There have been some people that are good. Let's keep Fields away from Aaron Donald week 1, but it's he's got to play all these great players at some point anyways. I think that's a bullshit argument. I wouldn't listen to, I don't think there's any merit to that at all, but I think it's good for him to sit a little bit. I do.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Yeah. I want him to sit a couple games and kind of, just see the speed of the game. I think that would be good if the Bears can kind of tread water for the first 2-3 games and then put him in. Yeah. Maybe we're 1-2 and we put him in, and that would be fine, I think. But we played Mitch this week and he fucking tore us up. What'd you think about that?
So yeah, and that was making me think of just preseason in general. I'm not a fan of reading into it. A lot of people are reading into it with this whole Justin Fields. He should be starting, and Dalton looks like shit. The offensive line looks like shit. It's preseason. A lot of the coaches do not like putting their offense out there. They don't want other teams to get a read on what we're doing this year, who's going to be doing what, how we're going to be looking offensively. And I think a lot of the writers, a lot of the local fans too, want to see real football, but it's preseason. They're probably looking at a position here or there, focusing on the film for offensive line position and seeing how they're performing against that. Ones really aren't playing. A lot of backups are playing. So that's how I feel about that whole thing. Mitch looked great. And I think he was going to look great. This is one of the biggest games. But for him coming back to Chicago, he torched us. He looked okay. He still didn't have any of the deep balls. He was like cutting us up with like slants right off the beginning. I was watching it and just these quick reads, looking for the first read, not there, turn second, another like 7-yard slant here and there, escaped pressure a couple times. But I think Mitch is going to be fine. I think he's going to be in the NFL for a long time, maybe a backup, maybe a journeyman. As he gets older, he might a la Ryan Fitzpatrick, just like here and there patchwork, able to start a season for this team, and like be in the NFL for 15 years. He could possibly do that with his tool set. I don't think he's going to be a franchise quarterback at all, ever. And
Yeah,
good
definitely not.
Good for Mitch. I think a lot of people are reading into this too much with preseason. Yeah, there are concerns, but come back to me after 2 weeks of the regular season to reassess where we're at as a franchise.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about this to me, like you're right, this was Mitch's biggest game of the season, absolutely, because Josh Allen is going to be playing
right
every single snap. To come back into Chicago and kind of shove it up our asses was kind of like that was his job this year. 221 yards, 1 touchdown, but he piloted 4 consecutive touchdown drives. They beat us 41-15. They just kicked our ass. And it's like, this guy was in our building for 4 years and we don't know, how to stop him. That just, to me, was kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Like, what the hell are you doing? Nagy, that you don't, this guy better than anybody else. Like, how did he pick us apart like that? So that kind of
preseason.
Pissed me off a little
man.
bit.
Don't read
it is
into
a preseason.
Man.
It is.
Come on. It's preseason.
It is the preseason.
No one's ever won undefeated in the preseason, gone on to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's preseason for a reason. You're looking at certain positions. You're not looking at the whole game. You're looking at individuals. Is this guy going to make the team? Is this someone that we can rely on? Is he winning his individual battle, right? That's what film breakdown's all about. They're not looking at the final score. They're not looking at the headline of Mitch coming to Chicago and kicking our ass. They're trying to see who can be our backups at offensive line, who could fill in there, trying to see who could be in the secondary, cornerbacks, right? If we got anybody worth a while back there. That's what they're looking at. I mean, yeah, it hasn't been pretty, but like I said, when the actual season starts, Andy Dalton had a great long ball too in that game. I don't know if you were watching it. He kind of just, after 3 bullshit drives, he finally pumped it and put it out there, and they came down with a touchdown. Right, it was like a huge play, touchdown, first touchdown of the game, and that was good. After that, he kind of sat down and we were good to go. But I want Fields to start. Like I said all along, after week 4, that's when my just something about it says he's in there after week 4, and he's going to do awesome, and it's really going to light up fire under the team's ass. And I think we're going to be competitive. I think we're going to be a lot of fun to watch. But maybe next year will be even better. Other Bears news. Saw that the Raiders were kicking the tires on Khalil Mack to come back. Saw that?
Yeah, that is ridiculous that they were calling the Bears on Khalil Mack again. I'm sure the Bears kind of laughed in their face a little bit on that one. But interesting that they would try to come back to the same well there. I would think they would have tried to call around for a different pass rusher than trying to come back and get Khalil Mack.
How many years left do you think he's got on his career?
On his career?
Yeah, because what if the pot was like 2 first-rounders and the Bears are a franchise without first-round picks, and they come back because we keep trading and trading back. I don't know if that's exactly true, but I know we've traded a lot of picks here with Ryan Pace, and they come back with a lot of draft capital. Are you willing to are you willing to let Khalil Mack go?
So how long did Julius Peppers play?
Well, I mean, he played forever, but he really wasn't. He wasn't worth the last 3 years of his career, I don't think. I mean, he played longer than he was. I mean, he played as long as he wanted to, but he wasn't as dominant as he was in those Carolina days and in Chicago. He was in like Green Bay for a couple of years, I feel like, and
Yeah, absolutely.
maybe ended somewhere else too.
Ended
But
in
like,
Carolina. Yep.
yeah,
So, yeah, I mean, he might be, the freak of nature kind of the end outside linebacker. Maybe not the best person to compare him to, but I mean, but kind of. I don't think that's that far off. Peppers played with the Bears until he was 33, and then played with Green Bay from his age 34 to 36 season, and then a couple of years in Carolina. Only played a few games there, but he was playing 16 games. He started all 16 games till he was 35 years old.
and max
I don't
30.
know that you can expect that much out of anybody. I mean, that's crazy. That's like the Frank Gore of the defensive lineman.
True.
But I think 33, could he play till he's 33 at this level?
Like
I think
dominate until 33.
Yeah, I think so. I think he'll be one of the top 10 pass rushers until he's 33. Absolutely.
So let's go back to 2015. 15 sacks in Oakland, 11 sacks in 2016, 10 and a half in 2017. First year in Chicago, 12 and a half. 2019, 8.5. Last year, 9. He hasn't had double-digit sacks since 2018, his first year in Chicago. Does he get there this year?
Yeah, I think so. I'd put money on that.
You would? How much? Put it down right now.
Put it down right now. Double-digit sacks. Wow.
A jump in Lake Michigan.
A jump in Lake Michigan
on the last game of the season for the Chicago Bears.
Jesus
if he gets above,
it's gonna be frozen when he's talking about.
Exactly. You're confident. I mean, you won't have to jump if he gets it.
Yeah, I think he's gonna get it.
Yeah, that's how that works. Yeah.
So he's not even 30 yet. So how many years does he have left on his contract?
I think he's 30, right? I think he's
30.
Yeah. And how many years left? I think he's on the Bears until 2024 with his contract. And after that, he's a free agent.
So I think, I mean, I'm fine with that until the end of that contract. I think he's going to be good until the end of that contract. Don't you?
We'll do a digital handshake. Well, for the bet, 10 sacks, double-digit sacks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you think he's going to play out his career till 2024 in Chicago?
All right, let's do $30 on this.
Okay.
I don't know if gambling's legal in California, but it is here.
Okay. We're in Illinois.
Yeah. So, all right, 10 sacks. I think he's going to do it.
All right.
Put it on the board.
Make a note.
I did see, and last thing, I guess, on Mitch before we move on was that Mitch was on Pardon My Take.
I saw that. I listened to it.
They asked him about the tweet from 2011 that said, "I love kissing titties."
It wasn't even him.
Yeah, that's what he said. He claimed it was his buddy. I don't know if I buy that. Do you?
Well, yeah, because then his buddy went and like quote tweeted it and said, "I may know a guy, and he's in the White Sox organization."
Okay.
Or something like that. Yeah, he's a minor league baseball player. I listened to the interview. Mitch seems pretty happy. He seems happy to kind of be out of the spotlight and kind of done dirty a little bit by the Chicago media, which is kind of what I was saying when we drafted Justin Fields, is just to relax. And people like right now, and that are like, this guy needs to be in there week 1. He should be starting. Like, we just need to be a regular fan base and allow people to go through like the maturation process of being a franchise changing quarterback and not wanting to like, put him in right away and have things happen to him that ruin players. They get injuries, like Carson Wentz right now is just, injury after injury. Andrew Luck retired early. If we want this guy to be our quarterback for 10 plus years, if he doesn't start the first 5 games, Chicago, relax. All right. If he's here for 10 plus, that's what I see. And everyone else is like, it's a different game. They're ready to play right away. It's still football, man. And it's violent. And it's a contact sport. Let him sit there and see where we're at after 4 games. And if Dalton's doing better than we all thought, let him sit longer. I'm okay with it. It's you got to have the long goal here. You got to have the vision that for the future. We've never had a franchise quarterback, so no need to rush him, in my opinion. All right.
So we don't know what the hell we're doing with it, anyways. Is what you're saying, even if we have one.
Yeah.
But Dalton, I think, is the best bridge quarterback we've had. I mean, Mike Lennon was atrocious.
That was tough. Yeah, that was really tough.
So yeah, I mean, we'll see. So let's get into fantasy quarterbacks. I know
Before we
you
do
and I
that,
both.
before we
Go
do
ahead.
that,
Go ahead.
came to my mind. Quick question. I want to see how accurate you are on this. For everyone listening, he was not prepared on this, and I'm just bringing this out of the blue right now to test him. And I'm just curious myself because it's called the Big Ten Conference. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 schools are in it. The Big Ten Conference. Can you name all 13?
Where the hell is this coming from? All right. So Wisconsin, you
Okay.
got Michigan, you got Michigan State,
Yep.
Northwestern, obviously. It's the
Mm-hmm.
Chicago Big Ten school. If you didn't know that.
Chicago's Big Ten school.
Bet you didn't know that.
All over the billboards.
So Maryland, I believe, is in there.
Sure.
That's 5. Purdue is 6.
Yep.
Indiana is 7. Go Hoosiers. Shout out Navin. That might be. I don't think Mizzou's in there.
Nope. Mizzou's SEC.
Yeah. They're pretty close, though. They should be.
You got 7 schools right now out of 13.
Might be all I got.
No, you're missing
Nebraska.
You're missing a huge one.
Nebraska's in there, aren't they?
Yep.
So that's 8. Huge one. U of I, 9.
There you go.
Is that the big one?
I was like, it's the state school.
Hey, I'm Northwestern. That's Chicago's Big Ten team.
There you go. Yeah.
So I got 9.
Go Cats.
I think I'm gonna cut myself off there before we waste too much airtime here.
State we went to college in.
Oh, Iowa. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Cardale Jones.
Ohio State. Yep. Damn, those are a couple of big ones.
There's one up in New York.
Up in New York.
Ray Rice.
I don't know.
Rutgers. And the last one, Joe Paterno.
Oh, Penn State, right?
There you go. Yeah, I don't know what made
Interesting.
I don't know what made me think of that, but I do know what made me think of it. It was college football starts this weekend. And all of the conferences are like realigning. SEC is trying to like adopt other, like Texas is supposed to come there from the Big 12. Big 12 is supposed to, I don't know what's going on. Pac-12 is getting more schools. Big 10 is getting like 13 schools. There's all this movement with the college conferences. So I thought, Big 10 being our kind of Midwest, that's where we grew up. That's our conference. Those are like the football games we would watch on Saturday morning. This Saturday, college football is back. How many Big 10 schools do you know? I don't know.
Yeah,
just came.
I know.
All right.
And we didn't go to any Big 10 schools either. So
no,
just like everyone know that. Not that I could name everyone in the Missouri Valley either. So
I knew that you were going to go Wisconsin first. I knew that was like, okay, yeah, that's his home run, Wisconsin. But it was funny you went Northwestern and Illinois was your secondary. You went Hoosiers before it. Maryland, I thought was the one you would struggle with, but you went there right away.
Yeah, for some reason I remember seeing that a while back. I did not know Rutgers was in the Big 10. And it's weird that 13 teams in the Big 10. Yeah.
No one does. Rutgers does. I don't think Rutgers brings anything to the table besides Tony Soprano. The one that I'm shocked that you didn't get and you should probably take a lap for is Ohio State.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd agree with that. And Iowa too, really.
Yeah, true. All right, moving on.
Let's get into the top 10 fantasy quarterbacks. So we each made a list before this.
Yep.
And I want to see if we have any, maybe that line up. Okay. Who's your number 1?
And this is Deshaun Watson's not playing this year, right?
I mean, he could be in your top 10 if you want. He wasn't drafted in my draft this weekend.
Yeah. He's down in my top 10 regardless. I was just wondering.
Yeah.
My number 1 is Mahomes.
Okay. Not much to be said there.
You want me to go down the whole list?
Yeah. I mean, if you want to go, maybe just go top 3. Who's your top 3 right now?
Mahomes, Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson.
Okay. So I got Kyler Murray at 1 and I got Mahomes 2. And then you had Russell Wilson. You said at 3. I got Josh Allen at 3.
Okay.
Who I think Josh Allen is going to win MVP this year. That's my guess.
I'm worried about Josh Allen. I have him as 4. I'm worried at how much contact he takes. And
really?
He runs all the time. That's also his appeal. just like the previous guys, Russell, Murray, and Mahomes. But something about cold games in Buffalo and getting hit hard is different than being inside in Arizona, like Kyler Murray. That's why I put him down there.
Murray's just so small too. I mean, like
but he's got D-Hop for the full year. That's my big thing,
QB3 last year. So, I mean, he had a hell of a year last year, but I feel like nobody's really talking about him as potential number one. It's all Mahomes, Allen, Lamar Jackson even. But Kenyon Drake's gone. So I think maybe he gets even more rushing attempts than he got before. And he had an injury. I think I'm wrong. Back. He had a shoulder injury second half of the year.
Kenyon Drake?
No. Where'd I leave off?
Kenyon Drake. Not being there.
So Murray was the QB3 last year. Kenyon Drake's not there. I think that's going to lead to more rushing attempts. They do have James Conner as well, but Chase Edmonds is the number one. And I don't think Chase Edmonds is built to be some between the tackles guy. I think the kind of interesting stat that I've heard lately is that Chase Edmonds only has 5 rushing attempts inside the 5-yard line. So he's definitely not going to be the goal line back. And I think you could put James Conner in that role, but James Conner struggles to stay healthy. And if James Conner goes down, it's going to be Kyler Murray running it in at the goal line all day long. Mm-hmm. So I think you're talking about him potentially running more. I think at the end of last year, he had an injury, shoulder injury that kind of hampered him a little bit in the second half as well.
Yeah, so but they were also going nowhere too. So I would assume any injury to your franchise quarterback, you're going to take the long route and throw up the, caution and have him sit for longer than he needs to be.
Right. So I think he's going to, I think there's a lot of points that he left on the board last year is basically what I'm saying. I think he could have ran more. I think he could have thrown it more if he had a shoulder that wasn't a little bit banged up. So I think he's got a lot of room to score. I think he can be the number one guy. And then Mahomes, I think he's towards the top.
He's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
Right. I think
there's no discussion there.
Yeah, much explanation there for him. He's a stud.
Yeah.
And then you had Russell Wilson at 3. Why'd you put him up there?
I just think he's a Hall of Famer. I think he's awesome. And DK Metcalf's been in the league for a couple of years now, and he's kind of solidifying himself as that top receiver. And I don't know. I just really like Russell Wilson. I think he's always kind of overachieved for the roster that they always trot out there in Seattle. And I just got a feeling about this year that he's going to be up there again. I think he's going to put up a career year.
I think he was a QB6 last year. Deshaun Watson was 5, I think. So you're talking about Watson not being there. So, I mean, just based on last year's numbers, QB5, he's got a little bit of room to grow for sure if he throws it more.
Yeah.
And uses his legs a little bit more. So I got Lamar Jackson at 4, Aaron Rodgers at 5, Tom Brady at 6.
Okay.
What do you got 4, 5, 6?
4, 5, 6. I have Allen at 4, Rodgers at 5, Lamar at 6.
Okay.
I've said it before. I'm out on Lamar being a top 5 QB. After his MVP season, he had a big letdown, right? And everyone's thinking he's going to bounce back and be that guy. I don't think he's ever going to repeat the level that he was at that MVP season. And that's why I have him top 6 is still awesome, right? So he didn't fall too far for me, but that's why I put him down just a couple pegs then you have him.
Yeah, I think there's some chatter that NFL execs are saying this might be the year that they have him figured out. And maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. I think he's the best running quarterback that there is, in my opinion. But the bottom line is he doesn't really have anybody to throw the ball to. They just drafted that Rashad Bateman guy. He's hurt.
Yeah.
So he's not practicing. Marquise Brown's hurt. He's not practicing.
Yeah.
They picked up Sammy Watkins. That guy's a fucking injury disaster. He's not practicing. So his top 3 guys are all gone. He's got Mark Andrews, who was carted off the other day because of, I think, something with, he has diabetes, I think. So he wasn't able to practice either. So it's like, I don't know. Who's he throwing the ball to? He's just not even throwing it. And then on top of that, he doesn't want to get the COVID vaccine, which is fine, but he's gotten COVID twice now already.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, if you would have asked me to name a receiver on Baltimore, I probably would just tell you Hollywood Brown, because I was just picking him up and dropping him like all the time last year. Cause he's like a buzzword. He's a name that you remember, and then he sucks and he doesn't do anything. So
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's never gonna go back. I mean, I think a lot of quarterbacks like that have their moments to where they, come out and the NFL is not ready for their style of play. They don't know how to react. But then after a year, maybe even two, they figure it out. They know his favorite tendencies. And then, like a Cam Newton, right? You look at him now and they kind of just figure it out and he's shut down. And then they try to have to be a pocket passer. They can't just be scrambling because they're getting older, they're getting slower, their injuries are piling up. And that's the worry there for that style of quarterback. But 4, 5, 6, who you got? 7, 8, 9.
So I have Matt Stafford.
You want to
At
talk about
7.
Rodgers at all? You want to talk about Rodgers at all? Those
So
other quarterbacks?
yeah, I mean Rodgers was the MVP last year. I think he's still gonna have Adams. They brought in Cobb, who's not a great player, but I think just to have some comfortability for Rodgers is gonna help him. I think you're talking about Aaron Jones coming back and getting most of the rushing work. I think AJ Dillon will be in there a little bit too, but you're going to have mostly Aaron Jones out there, whereas last year it was Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones. I think it's going to be a lot of Aaron Jones, who I think is going to lead to more yards. But I mean, he was MVP last year. I think put him in the top 5 isn't that crazy. And then I had Tom Brady at 6, who has this. He's bringing back, I think, everybody. They're one of the only teams to bring back every starter from last year. And he's got OJ Howard coming back now too. And then possibly a full season of Antonio Brown, maybe, if Brown can stay out of trouble, though he punched somebody in the face the other day at like a joint practice. But
same with Chris Godwin. He was hurt as a keeper of mine. I saw close tabs on him, and he was hurt majority of the year as well. He broke his thumb and was playing with that big brace on there.
Yeah.
I have Brady lower. We'll get to it, but man, he's just, I don't know. I shouldn't doubt him, but I am. All right. 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, 7, 8, 9. I got Matt Stafford, Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson.
Okay. Why are you so down on Wilson? As I have him in top 3, you have him as 9.
So I think he was 6 last year. I think they're going to run a little bit more this year. Seattle, I don't think the outcome at the end of last year was what they were looking for. Overall, I just think Chris Carson was a little bit banged up last year, but I think they're going to try and run it a little bit more this year and won't be passing it as much. They got Metcalf. I think they're going to throw a lot to him. I think Tyler Lockett had an enormous year last year. I don't know that he's that good. He's a good player, but I don't know that he's as good as he was. He had some weeks last year where he was dropping like 50 fantasy points. I don't think that's going to happen. And most of Wilson's points last year were in the first half of the season, and he trailed off the second half. So I'm not high on Wilson in general, but I think he's a lock for a top 10.
Okay. My 7, 8, 9. You want to repeat yours again real quick, and then I'll do mine?
Yeah, I got Stafford, Herbert, and Wilson.
And I have Stafford, Burrow, and Dak.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I got Dak at 10. So we're both of us kind of down on Dak. Do you want to go ahead with?
It's just my view on the Cowboys. I'm very biased against them. I always think they're overhyped, underperforming. And just watching Hard Knocks this year, right, with his shoulder, that worries me. And but CD looks phenomenal. That's why I have Dak up there as a top 10. I just worry about his injury problems. Again, like I said with Lamar, I mean, he just had that, his ankle was bending sideways last year. He's had a shoulder injury at the beginning of training camp. These quarterbacks that are taking this violent contact, and then again, that's why I'm saying Justin Fields can sit. They got to take care of the bodies. They got to realize that they can't be going out 1,000% every single snap. And I think, the shelf life on Dak, it's scary. He's getting hurt almost every year now. So that's why I put him down there at 9, but still top 10 because of the talent around him. He's got Zeke around him. He's got CD on the outside. He's going to be a superstar. So if he stays healthy, yeah, he's going to kill it.
100%, dude. I'm on the exact same. We're thinking in the exact same wavelength there. Like I've been watching Hard Knocks too. Maybe we were just both watching that and kind of getting the same opinion on it, but it's like, he's already got a shoulder injury. Are they going to, try and run it a little bit more because he's got a banged up shoulder and they want him to be available all season long? And then the ankle injury, is he going to run as much as he has in the past and get all the rushing touchdowns that pile up for him too? Those are big fantasy points that I don't know that he's going to have. I think they're going to try and hand those off to Zeke. So I think Zeke's going to have a good year, obviously. But I think, like you said, he's got so much talent around him. I think he's going to be a top 10 quarterback. I don't know that he's going to be top 4 or 5 like he's going in fantasy drafts right now.
Yeah.
So we both had Stafford up at 7. It's kind of interesting.
Yep.
Uh,
I'm high on him. I should have put him maybe even a little higher up. I think he might be my 6. I would swap him with Lamar.
yeah.
Yeah, I think Stafford's finally in a franchise. You know, I saw a graphic the other year of like franchises that have never made the Super Bowl, and then I saw the Detroit Lions logo, and then just thinking about Stafford with this list, and he's a stud. And he broke his back like 2 years ago, and still like didn't he like still play with like a broken vertebrae?
Yeah.
Anyway, anyways, I think with Sean McVay, his arm talent, he was a stud out of Georgia. He's been a stud. He's just been slinging in Detroit, which is not you know, a franchise that is known for having, you know, high level quarterback play or high level play at all. They never won a Super Bowl. So for him to go to LA, to go to the Rams, to go to a coach like that with McVay, to have some talent around him, Daryl Henderson, keeper. I think he's going to have a career year. I really do. I'm really high on him. That's why, yeah, he's my 6th. Lamar will
Yeah.
be
He's
my
got
7th, Stafford 6.
good receivers there. He's got your boy Tyler Higbee at tight end, Daryl Henderson.
Hey, I think Higbee's gonna have another year. I was a year early. I was a year early.
You're early on Higbee last year.
Yeah.
You know what an interesting thing that I saw was that there was a DB, I don't remember who it was, that said they figured out Jared Goff a couple of years ago, where McVay would look at everything on the field and he would radio into Goff and say, all right, this is what you need to do. This is what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
And once the headset was turned off.
Yeah. You can't like communicate within like 15 seconds or something like that.
Exactly. So the defense figured out, let's just disguise our coverage right now until that headset's off.
Yeah.
And then we'll show it. And then Goff had no idea what he was doing. So they basically took McVay's brilliance or whatever you want to call it out of the equation. And I think now you're talking about Stafford coming in, and he's just a stud quarterback. And I think he's going to be able to figure that kind of thing out on his own at the line. So
if I didn't have a keeper in Kyler Murray, in our league, I would be targeting Stafford as a later round quarterback. I think he's got a lot of value.
Yeah, he's going to be great. Herbert had a hell of a year last year. That's why I got him up there.
Yeah, I have him out of my top 10
quarterbacks.
I have Herbert out of my top 10. I don't know why. I just out of a feeling. The second year,
it sounds like
Burrow's my number 8. Yeah, I have Burrow number 8 there. Coming out of ACL surgery. I mean, he killed it last year and then tore his ACL and had to go down and get surgery. But I think he's a real talent. I think he's going to be around for a long time. I think he's a stud. He's a Tiger King. And I'm high on him. I like him a lot. That's just a personal opinion. My number 10, you got your number 10. You want to round out the list?
Yeah, my 10 was Dak.
Okay, wait. So go 7, 8, 9, 10 then.
So I got Stafford, Herbert, Wilson, Dak.
Okay, and I had Stafford, Burrow, Dak, Baker.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I did list my three out like right away. Okay. That would be transition, or that would kind of like replace those kind of like last spots was Herbert, Fields, Brady.
Really?
For fantasy,
you don't have Brady in the top 10 or
Herbert? Huh? No,
I got Tannehill as my 11. So that's another guy that you didn't name. I think he was the QB 7 last year, and now he's getting Julio Jones. I think he's very easily could jump into the top 10.
They run the ball so much in Tennessee, though. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Baker, I've always been a fan of his. I love his commercials. But I just think the Browns, again, another team that hasn't won a Super Bowl, but they have immense amount of talent on that team. And I think it's just been a transition that it's been hard. It's been slow. But I think this might be the year, 2-3 year plan where they get the roster, but it still takes a little bit to gel, to get together, to have a common goal, common focus. He's got a pretty solid group of receivers around him, tight end, running back, by committee as well. A lot of talent around him, and it's just set up for him to succeed. So that's why I put him top 10. And that's my list. Number 1, Mahomes; 2, Murray; 3, Russell; 4, Allen; 5, Rodgers; 6, Stafford. Changed. 7, Lamar; 8 Burrow, 9 Dak, 10 Baker.
All right. And I got Kyler Murray, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers at 5, Tom Brady, Matt Stafford, Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott at 10, and Tannehill is, looking outside looking in. But it was fun little rundown here with you, Slowick.
Yeah.
Our draft next week is the 14-team flop league, the Fantasy Football League of Podcast draft. So that'll
That's
be
right.
next Tuesday. So that'll be part of our next podcast. Will be us doing the draft, and so tune in for that. And it should be fun, right? I mean, we got everybody ready to go. We're gonna do a little Zoom right before the draft, get to know everybody, and hopefully have some fun this year with everybody that's
yeah, we'll put out some content for you. We'll record it. We'll put up the video on our YouTube. We'll put up the recording for the pod as well. And we'll also continue to do this up until our team or our close league that we really enjoy doing with some friends from home. Quarterbacks this week. We'll try to do running backs and then receivers. We'll just take it to those 3 for the next 2 weeks here. And thanks for listening. Episode 27.
Episode 27. Thanks for listening. See you later.
Peace.